1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
That's my 1 o'clock meal.
That's excellent. I have like 15 projects going on right now. Like, I bought some new rugs, and I want to clean before I don't want to put a rug down on a dirty floor. I've got food prep going.
Oh, Sunday dinner?
Sunday dinner, but then for the week too, because, we're doing the same thing. We're both watching our nutrition.
Yeah.
And then we're painting Carolyn's room.
Oh, right.
And I think today's it. Like, I think we can get it done today.
Nice.
And get her stuff loaded back in her room. So we've got lots of moving parts.
Yeah, it looks like a regular house.
Yeah. Clutter makes me anxious.
Does it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Joseph has a little bit of that too. Make sure my notifications are off. So, I mean, I don't need it clean or perfect all the time, but I find it hard to relax.
You need to gotta put stuff away. I can see it in your eyes right now.
Can you?
Yes, I can.
Do I have crazy eyes?
No, not crazy eyes. Just like...
Literally, it was to the point last night where I was going to go into the office today. I was going to ride with Joe and go into the office today. And I was like, no, I can't, because then that blows the rest of my week for dealing with all this. And I can't do it. So, welcome to the dining room studio.
Yeah.
I'm going to just jump right in because you know what I'm going to do?
What?
I'm going to remember our introduction. How did it used to go? It's a beautiful fall Sunday afternoon here in the dining room studio. I'm Sue O'Lear.
And I am Johnny Hampton.
And you are listening to the Strongly Worded Podcast.
Yeah.
Look at that. We did it.
Wait, my son said to me today, I said, I'm going to tape the podcast. Said, you haven't done it in 12 years.
Thanks a lot, Aunt.
I'm like, you don't even listen. I listen in the car with you.
Yep.
Like, oh, okay.
Well, 2 episodes into our 5th season.
Yeah.
We're getting close to our 50th episode.
Are we really?
Yeah, we're at, I think this is 46.
Nice.
Yep. So we're plugging along. Like, we're not lazy or still or quiet people. We are always going.
I know. I was just telling somebody the other day, it's like, I don't get to see people. I'm so busy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we're with people all the time, but it's not necessarily like being with our people.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy for me to figure out and scoop out time and whatever to do this when I know, like when I have a good meaty topic.
Oh, yeah.
But when we're kind of like busy and not sure and I haven't done my normal inspirational reading to try to come up with something or whatever, it's easy to put it on the back burner. So listeners in Botswana, I apologize. We're trying. Everything that you're supposed to do to make a podcast successful, the number one rule is always consistency.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we love you guys, though. We're doing our best. But we got lots to talk about.
Yeah.
It's almost Halloween.
Yes. I'm not a huge Halloween person.
Me neither.
When I was a kid, I was, but, I'm not a huge Halloween person.
I'm not either.
My wife is, though.
It is my daughter's favorite holiday.
Yeah.
And every year I'm like, okay, we'll get inflatables and we'll do this and we'll do that. It is October 23rd. I'm looking around my house. There's nothing Halloween about my house. Right?
I saw a couple of pumpkins out there.
Yep. So that's another project out there. My flower beds. I'm put vegetation killer down.
Oh.
And,
It's
so
that time of year.
all of my plants are, protected from it on the porch. And I got to.
Cold weather and weeds.
I didn't make it all look pretty out there yet for Halloween, but hopefully today's the day to get a lot of that stuff. Because, after a week, nobody cares about my
Halloween.
My terracotta pumpkins.
Yeah, so Halloween is on a Monday this year, which is...
So I keep seeing in neighborhood groups on Facebook, when do the kids trick or treat? Like, are there places where you change trick or treating?
Oh, no, they'll do trunk or treats and they'll do all kinds of stuff before that. I gotta see, But
they would do that, even trunk or treats and stuff, even if Halloween was on a Friday or a Saturday.
There might be, here in our town, they have specific subdivisions that do it really, really big. And so they might decide to do it Sunday, but I don't know. I
haven't seen anything. We've always just trick or treated on Halloween.
Right. So I got practice on Monday with my elementary school team. I'm gonna have to cancel.
Yeah.
On that Monday. So
yeah. I was going to go. I'm glad you said that. I can take that off my mental list of things that have me stressed right now. I was going to go to the girls' practice on Monday, but I bet he won't have it. The girls, the league girls.
The middle school we might. You know,
doubt it.
I just got to check. I got to, I'll put in for them, but the I'm not going to make parents make the choice for the little guys.
No,
You
but
know
I
what
think middle schoolers would still want to go do their thing.
I don't know. Like, I don't know if the 8th graders go trick or treat like that.
Mine did.
I know. I wonder, did Anthony trick or treat in the 8th grade? I don't remember. That was just last year. Getting old.
Yeah. Oh my God, it was just last year.
That was just last year.
One of my kids turned 20.
That's crazy. That's insane.
It is insane to me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he hasn't been my kid since he was born.
Yeah, but
he's been my kid long enough that I'm like, he was such a baby when he got here.
Yeah, and I kind of had seen him around the school before that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he always used to be shooting around in the gym and stuff like that. I'm like, good
He's
God.
been friends with my son since we moved here. So
That's crazy. 20 years old.
he's 20. Yep. Joseph's next.
Yeah, time waits for no one.
No one. Time waits for no one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they don't trick or treat anymore. But my daughter, my 15-year-old, definitely does. She's making her plans.
She's gonna.
Yep. She and a couple of her friends are going to go out to Sugar Mill.
Yeah, that's where we used to
Check
go.
it out.
That's in Benell, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we used to go when Tiara was young.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they make a big deal over there.
They sure do.
Yeah, she had a friend that lived out there too.
It's very cool. And so the first year we lived here, somebody told us about it and we found it and whatever, and it was great. And so we figured when we went looking at Christmas lights, we're like, oh, let's go look at that. Let's go drive through that neighborhood. Nah. They do it all. I mean, there were some, but it wasn't anything to write home about. They do it all for Halloween, and then they let the rest of the county do the Christmas lights.
Yeah, they do.
And they're allowed. Like,
right,
this neighborhood is outstanding. They make haunted houses and
yeah, oh yeah.
It's really awesome.
There's another place like that off of, I can't even think of it. I think it's Old Kings. I don't know. Or Old Dixie? I can't remember.
It's funny to me, though, the houses that don't participate.
Yeah.
Like, you'll go down, the street with houses on both sides, 5 or 6 or 7 of them on both sides, all done up, and then there's one dark house. And I just wonder what they're doing.
I remember when I used to live in Flushing, like, everybody used to trick or treat. You'd ring doorbells. We were in an apartment. And a lady who lived on my floor would write, like, every year would be a different sign. Don't ring the doorbell, the dog. Don't ring the doorbell, the baby's sleeping. Uh-huh. And guess what?
What?
She had no dog.
No baby.
And no baby.
No.
She just
means get the F out of here, dude.
She was wicked, man. Like, come on. Just don't answer the door. Like,
there were a lot of Halloweens for me growing up that I spent in hotels because my brother played football.
Oh.
My brother played college football. So we were often in a Holiday Inn somewhere. And my parents would always let me bring a friend so I could talk some friend into missing Halloween back in our in our neighborhood with the promise of staying in a hotel. Right. So we would still maybe go. They'd take us through some of the hallways to trick or treat in the hotel. Nice. And some people figure, I'm in a hotel on Halloween, I'm going to have some candy. But what we did get was a lot of dollar bills.
Ooh.
Uh-huh. And then we go down to the game room and play pinball. But it was fun. Yeah. Different.
I used to trick or treat heavy. Mm-hmm. And, when you live in a big apartment building.
That's gold. And you don't even have to go outside.
Right. And we used to go outside. We like when I lived in Flushing, Queens, there was like 4 buildings in my. So we'd do our whole building. Then we'd do all 4 buildings. I'd come home with all this candy. Mm-hmm. My mom would check it all.
Would she?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think my mom ever checked my candy.
My mom. Yeah,
she would check it for the stuff she wanted to eat. She would check it for the stuff with coconut.
Eb does the same thing my mom used to do too. Like
really?
she would check it for puncture holes and all this kind of stuff. Because when we grew up, they was. What were they putting in stuff at that time?
Well, I remember reading or hearing the stories that they'd put needles or razor blades or
whatever. There was something else. There was some kind of drug they would put in some of the candy too. I can't think of the name right now. It escapes me.
I never. Yeah.
Yeah. New York stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we were in Flint. It could have happened there too. But I guess we turned a blind eye. Like many affluent white folks.
Well, you turned out okay though.
Yeah, we made it.
That's gonna bother me all day thinking about the name of that thing. Cyanide is what it is.
Yes, that's what it was.
Yes.
You sure that wasn't urban legend?
No.
That really happened?
Yeah, it was real. But it happens once, right? Like some crazy nut job does it once and then it becomes like it could happen every year.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Maybe now I'm going to be paranoid. No, maybe I'll check the candy. But it'll be fun. Carolyn she usually spends several months deciding what she wants to be. And last year, it was kind of a last minute decision. She was a ref.
I remember that.
She was a referee. I thought she was so cute.
Yeah, she was a referee. I remember that.
I thought she was adorable. She hasn't figured out what she's going to do this year yet.
She ran out of time.
I'm telling you. Well, you and I aren't going to be eating a ton of candy this Halloween, are we?
No. Not me. I'm on a diet, or I'm changing my lifestyle. What they said, they tell you don't use the word diet, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, it is kind of a old school retro sort of way to deal with it.
That's Sue's way of calling me old, y'all.
It is.
It is an old man's way of describing.
No, but as things evolve and change, we try to deal with them in different ways because the mentality of going on a diet means you also could go off a diet. You know what I mean? And really, if you want changes to last, it's not about going on and off. It's about adopting certain behaviors in your lifestyle.
It's a positive way.
Yeah, how about that? I'm a ray of sunshine. Yeah, so so Johnny and I both right now have focused again anew on the way we eat and move our bodies, because we can be the two busiest people on the planet and still find that it doesn't translate necessarily into eating right or having healthy behaviors.
I eat too much crap.
I mean,
that's my deal is always I eat too much crap, and I know what I have to do, right? But I just don't do it. And
that's what it is.
Yeah.
For everybody. I mean, really, a lot of times it does boil down to that. So I have a lot of, I have some autoimmune issues. So I have a lot of, like the way you're eating to kind of release some weight and start moving around. If I ate like that, I would feel horrible. And, maybe vice versa. Who knows? But it's a very personalized thing.
Right. Yeah. Like there's certain things that work for people and certain things that don't. Mm-hmm. Right. Like, so the way I'm eating now, some years ago, I lost like 50 pounds with it. Mm-hmm. And I've tried to do other different things before and they don't work. Mm-hmm. And like the reason I like this particular program or whatever you want to call it is because it teaches you to make smart decisions. Like it teaches you to eat multiple times to get your metabolism going, to snack throughout the day, not crazy snacks, but healthy snacks. It teaches you portion control. And basically you got to do 30 to 40 minutes of cardio 5 times a week, which is normal stuff, right? It's not something crazy. It's not P90X or, Weight Watchers points where I'm calculating stuff every day. It's like, nah, I'm going to go when this is over, hopefully, go into a restaurant. And yeah, I can get a steak, but I'm not going to get macaroni and cheese and with it. Maybe I'll get a baked potato and broccoli, right? And leave it at that. And if I get an appetizer, maybe it's something healthy, not chips and salsa, which is not that bad, actually, chips and salsa.
I mean, it just depends on your goals for eating. So when I was a trainer, I went to school and learned how to coach people in macros and blood sugar stabilization. And it's pretty similar to this, I think, in that it's multiple meals several times a day to keep your metabolism ignited. And it definitely not having the spikes and the peaks and valleys in your blood sugar is an amazing way to live. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No 3:00 lull where you're falling asleep at your desk, energy in the morning, feeling solid throughout the day. So, I definitely get the premise behind it. I think that so let me back up. I have learned that a lot of the nutritional or weight loss advice that's given by the medical profession to us when we go and get weighed and shamed
yeah, right,
is based on science that was created in 1950. All right, like how many areas of hold on, we're gonna pause again. What's up? Oh, okay.
Oh no, he's stranded.
Did he text you? Okay. Well, I'm going to say that again and maybe perhaps edit that out and give my son his privacy.
I got a great song that my mom used to sing about that. It's hilarious.
What is it?
Stranded on a toilet bowl. What do you do when you're stranded and you don't have a roll? And wait, to prove you're a man, you must wipe it with your hand. Great song.
Did she just make that up?
No, I don't know where she got it from. She used to sing it though.
That's hilarious.
Hilarious.
That's hilarious. Anyway, so a lot of the weight loss science is based, it's based on research and everything that happened in 1950. And people are content with that, with this sort of eat less, move more mentality. A lot of people are content with that. When I worked with Kaplan, I worked with pre-med students and students, taking their boards, once they'd completed med school. And, lots of conversations here and there with these students coming in to study with me. And it was amazing to me to learn how learning to become a doctor does not really involve learning anything about nutrition. It's a very, very tiny, small part
really
of what they learn in medical school. And I think overall, the predominantly male profession back in the 50s in medicine was sort of content with eat less, move more. Made sense.
Yeah.
And that's evolving.
Thank goodness for that.
Yes, yeah. It's evolving.
Eat less stinks. Like it's...
Well, it's just, you just, as we find better, healthier ways to fuel our body. But even, it's so individualized. It's different for you than it is for me.
Yeah.
I'm a premenopausal woman. I have a lot more sort of biological influences making certain things easy or difficult. When I was 20, I could go on a diet on Monday afternoon if I had a pair of shorts I wanted to fit into Friday. That involved pretty much Diet Coke and cigarettes. And that was that. Or back then, that low-fat craze, all those Snackwells.
Oh, man, those are good.
Like
I like Snackwells.
Yeah, but we're not good for you.
But isn't it harder? It's harder for women to lose weight in general anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, probably.
I've read that somewhere. Like, it's harder for women.
Mm-hmm. But so many of the things back in the 80s that we were taught that kind of stay with us are actually now in our 40s and approaching 50 really horrible for us.
Yeah, you shouldn't be drinking all that diet soda.
You shouldn't be, any soda, really.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be, very often when a food producer takes fat out of something, they have to put something back in it that is probably worse for you than the fat was.
Mm-hmm.
Healthy fats we know now are actually pretty good for you.
Yep.
And so things are changing, but people aren't necessarily changing yet. To sort of understand that there really isn't a week that goes by that I don't engage in some sort of debate that somebody thinks they know something about my health based on my size, for example.
Yeah. I mean, that happens a lot.
It sure does. And it's too bad, especially, how I have said before that, like when we're talking about student loans or this or that, like people who have had a difficulty want you to have the same difficulty too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because it was the science that was in vogue when you were going through something else, why do you want it to be the same? For me, why can't attitudes and research and everything sort of open up and evolve? And even just today, I was debating someone who we have been advised by the same types of doctors with some of the same types of symptoms, but we received very different medical advice. And she wanted to win, basically. And so, of course, what she did was say, there's no way you can be healthy when you're overweight.
Well, okay, like, yes, you can actually.
Yes, you actually can. I'm so glad that was the word.
I go to the doctor all the time, right? And I'm overweight. Mm-hmm. Okay. I have slight hypertension. I take a 10 milligram pill once a day. Mm-hmm. I'm not diabetic. My cholesterol is not sky high. Matter of fact, when I went to the doctor, it was a little bit high. And he said, it's not even enough for him to give me a pill because he feels like the pill will cause other things. Mm-hmm. And so he was like, hey, man, just start eating a little bit better. So you might look at me and say, that's a big dude. He has high blood. I don't have all that stuff.
Right.
Like my dad, who was slimmer than me though, had it all.
Well, that's just it. So, right. So, you think you can tell somebody something about somebody based on one factor, but if I were 75 pounds lighter, you would assume something else about me when I could be more unhealthy that way.
Right.
Than I am right now. I'm the same way. I don't take a prescription for any blood pressure issues, cholesterol issues, heart issues, pain issues. I don't know what I'm missing, but any of those types of issues.
Yeah.
I exercise every day. I go to the gym several times a week and lift stuff that's heavy. I get a minimum usually of 8 hours of sleep every night. I probably drink a gallon of water every day. What's your definition of health if it's not me? Right.
And so like I remember, I have a good doctor. I'm lucky. Like he's pretty progressive, right? Like he keeps up on stuff. And I remember him, saying like he looked at my weight. He was like, "Oh, the ideal weight for you is 170." And he was like, "Dude, I can't even see you at 170. Like if you can get to 200 and with these same levels, you'll be fine." Right. So it's not people doctor from a chart. Like, oh, you're 5'7", so you should be. Well, that doesn't always work.
That BMI chart is also antiquated.
It doesn't work. So, you got to find a good doctor who is willing to step outside of the box
and take a look at the whole picture.
Right.
The whole picture.
If I had a different doctor right now, I probably would be on a cholesterol pill. And I recently found out I don't need any of that. Like I just had a scan of my heart, and they told me, "Hey, you good to go."
Yep.
So if I would have been taking that, it would have done more damage. So you got to watch out, guys. Pick a good doctor,
and just take good care of yourself. So in this country, it can be extremely difficult for a lot of reasons, right? I mean, the way food is marketed, packaged, the fact that, certain types of foods are so much less expensive than other types of foods, the fact that in this country, our food contains chemicals, additives, this kind of stuff that are not legal in other countries all over the world. I have friends that are expats that are traveling the world right now and began dropping weight, not really making any changes at first, began dropping weight just because the quality of the food they were eating was so much better once they left the United States.
That's crazy. It's funny you say that because, I'm allowed to eat on this program. I'm every now and again, like, 5 or 6 ounces of fish or chicken. And so sometimes, like, I don't have I'm not a chef. I don't know how to cook any salmon, so I don't have to ask my wife. Sometimes I don't feel like asking her. She's tired, blah, 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 right? So I'll go to Olive Garden where I know they have salmon, and I can get 2 servings of broccoli, comes with a salad. I'm good to go, right? That costs $21.
Yep.
I can go to McDonald's and get a McDouble and their bundle. I can leave there $6. But it'll be 8,000 calories. It makes no sense.
And saturated fat,
I never understand that. Like, it's why poor people are always so unhealthy because the food they can afford is terrible for you. So I don't understand it. I'll never understand it. Why is a piece of fish $30 and the hamburger $6?
Right. I mean, there's so many reasons for it.
Yeah.
But the way we have to mass produce everything. It, of course, has to deteriorate the quality of what we're getting. So now I have to pay a premium to have ground chicken without any chemicals in it, or, an apple that hasn't been sprayed down with pesticides or grown in dirt that has been laced with Roundup, or, and
Yeah. It's like I was talking to my mom yesterday. This week I'm going to have a hamburger. She's like, "Oh, I got some burgers in there." And I was like, "Nah, but I need the lean beef." Like, I'm sure you don't have that in the freezer. You just picked up
grass-fed, lean.
Right, whatever they had in there. So I got to get the lean one. It has to be a certain percentage. It has to be. She's like, "What?" It's like, yeah. I'm trying to do this right.
So I've said before, too, once you start learning and educating yourself on nutritional quality, it's hard to turn it off. Like sometimes you know too much, right? And then it makes it very difficult. It makes it very difficult when I don't know, you do go off or you do make a different choice one day or you do whatever because you know. Like I remember when I had Joseph, my doctor said, you will go crazy trying to figure out how to give him the best of every single thing he puts in his mouth. You will drive yourself crazy.
Yeah.
He said, and this was almost 20 years ago. But he said, in his mind, what the most important thing was to get the highest quality was like dairy and meat. That is where he felt like a lot of that, because a lot of times if you, you can wash the skin of a fruit or vegetable, or you can peel it, or, things that might be sprayed on. Now this is 20-year-old advice or whatever, but what the lesson that remains is, you will drive yourself crazy if you try to overhaul everything all at once.
Yeah. It's so
Pick
funny.
Your priorities.
It's so funny you said that about choices. I remember, when my best friend's father passed away, I was still like watching when I was eating or whatever. And I was at the airport in New York. They have Five Guys in there. Okay. And I guess in New York at the time, I think Bloomberg had passed a law where you had to put the calories on everything on the menu. Now, I've been eating Five Guys here in Florida. They have one not too far from where we are. I work not too far from there. So I would get the burger and the french fries and
not even think about it.
Not think about it at all.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm looking up there, and the calorie count is up there, and the french fries are like 1,100 calories.
Yep, that peanut oil that they fried in, man.
I'm like, dude, let me get the small cheeseburger with no fries. Like, I'm just going to have to go without those.
Yep.
So, yeah, like once you start getting informed, like anything, right? Like it scares you in a way. Like, dude, then you realize, like, how was I eating before?
Right.
Like when I'm eating this McDonald's for breakfast and then a Subway meatball for lunch and Publix chicken for dinner, like I'm killing myself out here.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And yeah, that's when Joe and I really kind of buckled down. We'd gotten really busy this summer, right? Our summers are...
Yeah, your jobs are crazy.
Our jobs are crazy, and then our extracurriculars are crazy, both at the same time. It's a busy season for basketball and work. And so we were doing less and less food prep at home. And so even if you make a good choice at a restaurant too, there's still extra this or that, in the purchasing it from somewhere else that you might not put in it yourself or whatever. Oh my God. Learning the difference between farm-raised seafood and wild-caught seafood was disgusting.
Yeah, I don't know the difference. Thank Jesus. I don't. So do I want to look into that?
No. No, but if you can get wild caught, do it. But see, that's the thing. Now it's ruined. Now
Yeah, like is this fresh caught or wild caught?
Wild caught or farm raised.
And you're like, oh, it's farm raised. Damn.
Nope, I'm out. I can't do it.
Let me get the soup.
Toss salad dressing on the side, please.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a wonderful group fitness instructor and personal trainer at work. I love her. She's got a huge heart. She works so hard for our residents. I think she's great. Mm-hmm. But she's old school. She talks a lot about calories in, calories out. And that's fine. Like she is doing, everybody's got their own way of working with clients. Mm-hmm. But we did ask her if she would come in and do kind of like an eat this, not that with the kids of summer camp one day. Because we had the week that your wife came where we talked about food. But I said, I don't, like, this is the language that I forbid. Like, I don't want to talk to little kids about calories in, calories out.
Yeah, and especially in this society, you get a little girl gets that in her head, and next thing you know.
Yeah, or a little boy. I mean,
yeah,
sure.
that too, yeah.
I think, it's not something that I'm going to talk about in depth, but I had a very important male member of my family that had very disordered eating right up until probably the end.
Man.
Yeah. And that's where, one of the places where I learned how to diet. I mean, I was put on my first diet. I went to Weight Watchers when I was 9 years old so that I slimmed down to look good in the bridesmaid's dress I was wearing at my brother's wedding.
It's so funny because, like, when I was a kid, I was so skinny and like, a lot of adults used to talk about that a lot. And so when I got older and gained weight, I always felt like that was manly, right? Mm-hmm. Like I felt like, I look like a man now.
Well, I have had to catch myself because I've looked at some of our players and thought I would like to put some weight on him.
Yeah.
But I have to be careful how I would like to put some muscle on him.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like Kevin Durant when he came out in the draft, he was super skinny.
He was.
And everybody remember that. And everybody was like, "Oh, he needs to gain weight," and it was like, "Nah, he just needs to gain strength." Mm-hmm. Right. So, whatever that entails, he's got to do that. And he hasn't gotten much fatter.
No.
If you watch him now, but he's more muscular.
Yeah, that's it. He needed to put on muscle. Mm-hmm. So I look back at these pictures. You said you were a skinny kid. Yeah. You know what? So was I. I was built like my daughter.
Yeah, I mean.
But somehow the perception was, because I was taller than everybody, I filled out before other people did, other girls my age. The perception became that I was somehow, my body wasn't right. I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. It was overweight. When looking back at it, it would be like putting Carolyn on a diet.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, because she's slim. Mm-hmm. Right.
And this is not a slam on anybody who raised me. Any of that, 9 times out of 10 came from me.
Yeah, but also I always have this thing. It's the times we're living in, right? You only deal with the knowledge that you have, right? Like you can't be, you can't have foresight in 1983. Right. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So you probably wouldn't say that now, knowing what you know now and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, I mean. But for me, like I never talk about people's weight because you never know what's going on.
There's so many assumptions made about who somebody is or what their issues are based on totally superficial their appearance. Like this person that I spoke with on Facebook today assumed I struggle with my weight. She used the word struggle. I got news for you, ladies and gentlemen. I don't struggle with anything. My weight seems to be a bigger struggle for her than it is for me because I don't struggle with it.
So for me, I always start from a place of, first of all, you had 2 kids. Like that's, I'm a man, so I ain't trying, I know I've been with my wife 20 something years and she had Anthony. It's not easy. It's like, but it's been years. Nah, man. No.
It changes you. So
yes, exactly. Your body changes after that.
There's probably a good bit of damage to my metabolism from all of the crash dieting I did in my teens and 20s. 100%. No doubt about it. There is probably all kinds of changes and whatever due to pregnancy and hormonal changes for being a woman. Stress changes your body. 100% stress changes your body. I started learning about that in a doctor's office in Raleigh, North Carolina, where I was referred to a specialist because as a personal trainer, knowing how I was over-exercising. I was probably under-eating. I was completely full of inflammation. I was getting no kind of quality sleep. Like I went and had a sleep study and he's like, I don't know how you're not certifiably insane because you are not getting any REM sleep at night. Because I looked like I had to, and so all of my clients were getting fitter and stronger and faster, and I could no longer even run a mile. And the first thing that doctor said is, you have got to be under an enormous amount of stress. Well, yeah, we were broke. I owned a business. My brother was going to prison. My dad's health was not great. I was raising 2 kids. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, the same thing happened to me when right before Tiara was born. Like I had this thing where I was just going to the bathroom all the time. And they did all this work, blood work and all this kind of stuff, and I was fine. And then I'll never forget, it was at Columbia. They had some clinic up there. And the dude was asking me all kind of questions, and he was like, well, how do you feel in the morning when you wake up? I said, oh man, I never feel like I get enough sleep. So I told him. And then he said, well, tell me what's going on with your life. I was like, well, I'm trying to finish college. I'm working. I got a baby on the way. I'm no longer with the baby's mother. Like all this stuff. And he was like, he recommended, I couldn't drink caffeine for a year. Mm-hmm. And he said, this is all stress. It's like, what do you mean I'm peeing because of stress? Like, what does that even mean? And so for like 1 year, I didn't drink any Coke, Pepsi, no chocolate, nothing. And he was like, you got to get better sleep. You got to do all this stuff. So I never knew anything about that until that day. So it's weird. Like he told me the reason you wake up and you're still tired is because during the night, your mind is still working on all the things that you're worried about during the day.
It's true. Yeah. Yep. I went and got all the probes glued on me and everything. And he said I would kick myself out of REM sleep, which is the most restorative of the sleep cycles. I would kick myself out. Like I would get there and jerk myself right out of it all night long. No doubt, because of all of the physical, emotional, and mental stress I was under. So, you know what he told me to do?
What?
The first thing he told me to do?
What?
Do not work out again. 1 year. No strenuous workout.
Why?
He said if it wasn't just walking or like restorative yoga, yin yoga, stretching, your body is not recovering from it. You are not getting sleep, so your body is not doing the necessary recovery and repair. And like this is when I was training, when it was all on my shoulders, when I had, when I was teaching 12 classes a week, plus probably had 5 to 8 personal training clients and doing a lot of that, you know what I mean? And he said, nope, I don't want you to do anything besides walking or yoga, low impact.
Did you follow his instructions? Oh, you did.
I felt horrible. Like I felt bad enough to finally, you know what I mean? Like I felt terrible. I felt terrible. And I was not feeling like an effective wife and mom. Like my emotions were like, I could say something or get upset about something and realize how unreasonable I was being, but not be able to stop it. And I was not being a great trainer. Like I was exhausted. So I did. I stopped. It was in the months leading up to us moving here. It was that year prior to.
Tough year.
Yeah, it was. It was a very tough year. He told me to, some things about my sleep quality to improve it. But he said, you also will need to take naps. I will write you a prescription if you need to show it to your family. But you believe it or not, can catch up on your rest.
Yeah, naps are great.
I'm a big fan now.
Yeah, I love naps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like we are so programmed here to be hustling.
Yeah.
Hustle. That it's, the stress that it creates and the way it interferes with our sleep. Like it's so important to get good sleep.
Yeah. I remember when I worked in New York at Time Magazine, I used to do collections sometimes for In Style magazine. And they have a lot of Spain, Italy. They take siestas out there.
Yeah. Everything shuts down for
like
a couple hours in the middle of the day.
Like you can't call them at 12 o'clock. They're not there.
Amazing?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I could probably order a big bowl of pasta in Italy and not have any of the symptoms that I have ordering a bowl. First off, it wouldn't probably be a big bowl of pasta. It would be a regular sized portion of pasta in Italy because people don't jam food down their, in their faces the way Americans do in other parts of the world. But just the quality of the ingredients would be so different on my body than, the pasta that we make in our kitchens.
Yeah, you wouldn't have, as black people call, the itis.
The itis?
Yes. We'll have to talk about that off air, though.
Okay.
I
might have the itis.
I can't give you the full name.
Okay.
It's derogatory.
Oh.
But if you are African American, you know what I mean.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm dying to know now, but I won't hit pause. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, but that's probably why you always feel so tired when you eat something. All the crap that's in it.
Johnny, what I can remember so clearly, we were the four of us. We had a round table in our living room, like a round coffee table, and we would very often, instead of using the kitchen table, all sit there around this table, coffee table. And, some of us would sit on the floor and some would sit on the couches or whatever. And that's where we'd have dinner together. And I don't remember what it was what I cooked, but it was probably, I'm sure, pretty carb heavy. And, just in the chatter after we'd all finished up, my eyes started drooping and I wanted to just lay right back on the couch and take a nap. Because that's your blood sugar just bottoming out.
Yep.
Yeah. So I did. I did what the doctor told me. And it was good. It was really good.
It worked.
A lot of things, even now, because I don't really think that my life is any less stressful. Do you think you can eliminate? mean, there are some stresses. Like I said, I don't receive struggles unless.
Yeah, I mean, it's still stressful, but now, sometimes I take the time to just chill out.
Yeah.
Like,
I handle it differently.
Yeah, me too. Like, and I'm just gonna nap today. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I talked to the kids and hopefully model it too. That physical movement, doing something physical, will definitely change the vibration, right? So if you are stressed or low or whatever, go outside, take a walk, go look and see what's growing in our ridiculous garden that I started and I haven't been able to maintain. Do something, walk around the block, go dribble in the driveway, do your dribbling drills in the driveway, some kind of movement that will let you release that. It works.
Yeah, it's funny because I've been walking now because I never have time to go to the gym, but I'm gonna have to go to the gym.
Yeah, eventually you're gonna have to start picking up heavy things.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna have to go to the gym. So
because cardio is great for our heart,
right?
But it's not how we maintain weight loss.
No. So like I always say, like, okay, I'm gonna get to that weight, but then as I'm getting to that weight, and when I get to the weight, I gotta use weights. Mm-hmm. Got to. Like there's no choice. But yeah, I've started walking and stuff like that, and it is relaxing. Mm-hmm. Like to be out there and see your neighbors.
Oh, well, fuck that.
I don't care about wave to them.
No,
I wave to them. Mm-hmm. See what's going on and be outside and just to get out. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And I try hard to instill in my kids the anti-hustle. Like Joseph right now. He has been working. He wants his savings account to be at a certain place, or he wants this or he wants that. And he works right now in the restaurant business. And so, it kind of, summer ended, Labor Day, all that stuff, and it paused for a minute. A lot of our tourists left, and like sort of collectively this tourist area took a breath. So things slowed down for him, and he was getting antsy. And I was like, no, baby, this is the universe giving you time to rest. You are not hustling by being patient and waiting for the tourist season to pick back up, the holidays to come, all that stuff. Yeah. You need to pay attention to this gift the universe is giving you, and it's time to not work doubles 4 or 5 or 6 days a week.
Yeah, my dad used to always tell me, like, when I was 15, 16, I didn't get a lot of allowance, right? Like, not like my son gets from my mom now. Shout out to my mom. But, and so I would want to start working. And he used to tell me, no. It's like, what do you mean, no? It's like, nah, just focus on school, because once you start working, you don't stop. Yep. Like, and he was right. Like, I got my first job at 18, and I worked all the way through till I got furloughed at the pandemic. Mm-hmm. So he's like, nah, wait as long as you can.
It was the same with me.
It was one of the best pieces of advice he ever gave me.
It was the same with Joseph. The fact that I have allowed Carolyn to have a job has made my son go, you wouldn't let me. And I don't know that I'm going to let her keep it. I don't know. We're going to have to see, because I've always said school and basketball is your job.
And, just be a child.
Yeah, just be a kid.
Yeah, for a little while. Right? You know what I mean?
So I stopped in, a little side note, I stopped in the restaurant to pick her up yesterday. Mm-hmm. She works in the same restaurant as one of her older brothers, and I went to pick her up yesterday and got to see her in action. Mm-hmm. Like being a hostess and whatever. Like the people that I walked in with, I was chatting with because they were Wolverines. He had a Michigan sweatshirt on. We're talking about how great this fall is, man. We love fall. So I opened the door and they walked in, and I got to see Carolyn working, and looking after them and whatever. And so I thought, like, those are great skills. She is learning some stuff. She has had to deal with some frustrating customers, this or that. It is one afternoon and one full day. So we'll see. I don't know how what the basketball schedule is going to be, but for her, if it's not more than that. And I told her from the beginning, once it interferes with something else we have going on, like that doesn't get to become the priority. Like, you work your schedule that you're scheduled, right? Like don't blow them off or whatever. Right. But once that becomes the priority, it goes away, because you got to keep your grades up.
It's a good thing about, though, we live in a small town. Like, a lot of these places are understanding of that. Mm-hmm. Right? Like,
Yeah, this group of restaurants that now all three of my children are employed with, they're very cool, and they like my kids, and I'm sure it's not just us. I'm sure that a lot of the young people that work in the
right, it goes a long way,
that.
right? Like, they treat them like they are.
Yeah.
Like, hey, listen, we understand at this point it may not be your career, and we're not trying to kill y'all out here working 140 hours.
Right.
And,
right.
Thank you for everything.
One of the owners of this restaurant group was a judge on Chopped. Joe and I loved the cooking shows and the cooking competition shows.
Really?
Yes.
Me and Ab used to watch Chopped all the time.
His name is Bruno.
She probably knows him.
Yeah, I got to talk to Joe about it. Chopped is not one of my favorites, but we have watched it.
What?
I know. It isn't.
You've got to make a dessert out of quail eggs.
I tell you, sometimes it just stresses me out.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, sometimes it does. It just stresses me out.
we used to watch that, man. Like, Ed would have it on. We'd watch that. I used to love Chopped. Man.
So I don't know about all the locations, but in this location where they work, there's a picture of him on the wall.
Oh,
Chopped
nice.
Judge or whatever. So he knows two of my kids, probably all three, but two of my kids now, right? This guy, when he comes in.
Oh, wow.
Like yesterday, he looked at Carolyn because he knew she was new or whatever when he came in, and Carolyn was joking. Like, he walked in like he kind of owned the place, and then she realized he owned the place. But then, he came back and he was like, you didn't tell me you were an O'Lear. You should have led with that. And Carolyn, being who she is, was like, I'm the O'Lear. You should know. So he's about to get a Flagler United letter from me.
Let's go.
I know. Like, the kids have laid the appropriate foundation.
Yes, we'd love to sponsor you to be a sponsor.
And we would love it.
You could be the official.
You could be the one.
Right. Sorry, Mr. Luna.
Well, no, I mean, I'm a Mezzaluna too, but they're not writing me a check. I thought it could be even great though that like that new Bronx on 100 is a great location that I think would.
Yeah, I like the pizza.
People. Yeah. So, and they're good people. I'm happy that that's where the kids have ended up. But that said, that restaurant is all full of stuff that I'm not eating right now. I can't go in there and find a salad.
Same here. Like the other day, Eb and Anthony ordered pizza, and I had to get a Greek salad. Mm-hmm. That's what I got because it had the stuff that I could eat at the time. Mm-hmm. I tore that damn thing to shreds too. I was like, I never thought feta cheese could taste.
Yeah, it tastes so good. Yeah.
Oh man.
So I guess I figured by this point we would have veered into this, but a little bit and back. But I guess I just want to sort of end or wrap up with the idea that I'm healthy, you're healthy.
Yeah.
Any of our listeners out there, please don't feel like you're struggling with your weight.
Right. It's more your levels are more important than your weight.
Yeah, and you are so much more than your relation to gravity. My clients, when I owned the studio and was training, had me say this all the time. Like, I didn't want to scale in the studio. I didn't want them to weigh in or anything like that. Like, I want them to feel stronger.
Yeah.
Just, you don't have to have a certain number on the scale to be an awesome human or to be successful or to be healthy. You do not have to receive any of that. Somebody else's hang-ups do not have to be your hang-ups. You do not have to. You can say, I don't receive that. Today in this debate on my friend's Facebook wall, I didn't receive that woman. I told her, you obviously need the win. You can have the last word. And her last word was nasty. That is her problem. That is not my problem.
Yeah, I mean,
Lizzo is amazing.
Yeah.
And, she plays this flute, and MFers in the comments are like, I wish she would have dressed more appropriately. You know what? We know what that means. That means, you feel a certain way about the way her body looked and what she was wearing. That is a you problem, not a Lizzo problem.
I have a saying. I don't change people's perception of me. If that's the way you perceive me, so be it. I don't have to.
Yep.
I don't have to live your perception of
No,
me.
that is a you problem.
Right.
We coached girls, and very often when I'm warming them up, I'm saying, they laugh at me now because they know what's coming. But I say these things like, has anybody told you today how awesome you are? No? Well, you are. Has anybody told you today how smart you are, how strong you are, whatever it is, how capable you are, how you can do hard things? Who said that to you today? Well, nobody. Well, let me be the first then. You know, like we cannot pass this down to our folks coming behind us. And so that's what I have to say about that.
That's well said. I have nothing to add. That's well said.
All right, so Halloween's coming up.
Yeah.
And then
Thanksgiving.
Oh shit.
Yeah, see, here we go. Here we go. Here we go with you. Okay? Thanksgiving first. Okay?
Johnny comes into my house today and said he expected to see Christmas stuff hanging up.
Listen.
And he would have, because I've been watching Hallmark.
Listen. Sue will go right over Thanksgiving, which is one of my favorite holidays.
I know. I do. I love Thanksgiving.
I know you do, which is like the killer thing for me is like you go to your mom's and the whole family. Like, how do you skip over that?
I don't.
Yes, you do.
I just do it under the lights of the sparkling Christmas tree.
Oh man, yeah. So, in Sue's eyes, once Halloween is over, Christmas is here.
Yeah.
But for some of us,
I know.
Thanksgiving is here.
For a great many years, my husband worked in retail.
Oh,
So we got into the habit of decorating early because pretty much Thanksgiving is when we lost him until January 1st.
Yeah, man. That's a discussion for another time. But I'm so against that.
Oh, me too.
Like, I don't even like I understand restaurants they make a killing on Thanksgiving. I don't even like that.
Mm-mm.
I never liked it.
No.
I just don't. My wife's a chef. There used to be Thanksgiving. She had to work.
Mm-hmm.
Now not so much because the schedule has changed, and that just sucks to me.
Yeah.
But don't you
even remember when things weren't open on Sundays?
Yes, I do.
Don't mind that.
I mean,
it doesn't have to be Sunday. I just think it's great to have one day in the week where collectively, as a society, we're taking a break.
Yeah, I think one of the greatest things we learned and that we got from the pandemic was some of these stores, their Black Friday went down a little bit.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And you know what? They lived
we
to
survived.
sell another day.
Yes, we survived.
Yeah. I mean, Joe could never relax on Thanksgiving.
No,
'cause he knew
hell no.
He had to go in at 11 o'clock that
Right,
night.
he had to go to work at 8 o'clock.
And then, if he had to work on the day before Thanksgiving or whatever, very often the first part of his shift was spent guarding Black Friday deals until the time struck, whatever. And I would be so angry that all of these people were not home with their families or having a day off or doing whatever because they were standing arm in arm to protect people from getting a TV an hour before.
And it's just the wheel, right? Like, so, you if you could sell it on Black Friday for that price,
you can sell it on Black Saturday for that price.
Right. Like, why are we paying so much for this TV?
And why does it have to be black?
Well, there's a reason for that. You know the reason for that, right?
No.
So when you're in the red,
Oh.
When you're in the red financially, it means you're in the hole.
Right.
And so they call it Black Friday because for a lot of retailers, when that day is what puts them in the black.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
But I don't know why they call the stock market crash Black Monday.
That's right. That shouldn't it be
Yes.
Black Monday?
I don't know. We'll have to discuss that on
another very special episode of the Strongly Worded podcast. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I really hope that Johnny and I are able to figure out a way to get together to record again next week because we've got some exciting stuff to talk about. We've got some basketball tryouts happening. We've got some exciting stuff with our kids.
Yeah, we should have some good news about.
We should.
We should have some good news about Miss C this week. So
yeah, all the girls, I've become so attached. I'm excited to see how it all pans out. All right, so come find more about the Strongly Worded podcast on Instagram at the Strongly Worded Pod? Is it Strongly Worded Pod? Jeez Louise. So I get the opening right, and now I can't do the close.
I don't know. Let me see.
We're on Instagram at Strongly Worded Pod.
Yep.
Okay, we're on Instagram at Strongly Worded Pod. Same for TikTok, though I haven't posted a TikTok in a minute. I'm going to get back to it. We are on Twitter at the Strongly Worded P. And please, if you're a listener and enjoying what you hear, come on over to Facebook, the Strongly Worded Pod group on Facebook. It's a good group. It's not super active right now because I've been falling down on the job.
Yeah, maybe I'll put some stuff in there today.
Yeah, we need to do that because it's a good group over there. And there should be lots of stuff that we're talking about. So come find us on the socials. All right, Johnny. I'm glad you came over today.
Yes, till next week.
All day until next week. We'll see you next time.
The Strongly Worded podcast is written and produced by Johnny Hampton and Sue O'Lear. Music production and vocals by Marshall Max Lamont Hamilton and cover art by Samantha Shakes.